All right. Guys, I want you to tell me the number of squares that you see. I want the number of squares. So let's start counting. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right. So all those who said 9 this is all that you have counted. Now let's see what all you guys missed out on. Another square. 10. Another square. 11. Right? Now this. 12. All right. Same thing over here. If you can follow the pen. 13. And finally, the outer entire square. All right. So it is 14. Is it clear, guys? Did all those with 9, 15, etc. understand their problem? Did you understand where you went wrong? Is it clear? All right. Everyone, please.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes. What's the doubt, Syed?
Sir, there is a shadow. So
there is a shadow. Acha, you're talking about this white area.
Yes, sir.
Did you count that? No. That is the image actually. The actual image is this one. Acha, so you counted that shadow and you said 15. That's the reason you said 15?
Yes, sir.
Acha. No. That was the image that was pasted over here. So the actual square is this black one. Okay. Is it clear? All right. So this was what I want to start off with. Just be focused, guys. It's a class that is going to be simple. It's going to be very fun. All right. So what we're going to discuss today is called central tendency or central value. Now, guys, who can tell me what they understand about it? I do not want bookish definitions. I do not want internet definitions. I want things in your own words.
Sir, I'm thinking is mode.
Okay. And what do you think mode is now?
Like the most frequently repeated number.
Good. And what else can you think about it? You can either type in, guys, or you can speak. No problem. What do you think about it? Own words. I do not care if you're wrong, if you're right. What do you think central tendency or central value means? Main value, right? Palpopatch is the value that comes in the middle or between. Very good. What else? Any other average value? Good. Anything else that you can think of? I still have a couple of students typing in. Most important value. Okay. Middle observation. Good. All right, guys. So basically, central value need not necessarily mean the one that is exactly in middle. What we're talking about when we say central is the crux around which all other values revolve. All right. The value that is neither extreme. Okay. Now I heard Priscilla say mode, and she says that the value that was repeated the most number of times. That is exactly right. That is what mode is. Yes, even distribution. Very good. So basically when we talk about the central value or the central tendency, we are talking about an observation around which the other numbers revolve. They are not extreme in nature. Now, when I talk about central tendency, I have three types. One is mean, or what we simply call the average. That is something you guys are very familiar with, right? Someone says, what were the average marks that you obtained across, say, 10 subjects or 5 subjects or how many ever exams you wrote? That is nothing else but the arithmetic mean or simply the mean or average. All right. The second thing is called the median. Median, as the name says, median is mid. That means the middle value. All right. That is what median means. And as Priscilla rightly pointed out, mode is nothing else but the value that is repeated the most number of times. Now, for those who still remember what happened in the previous session, you remember we were talking about something called frequency. Guys, to put it in a simple form, even for the new students, frequency is nothing but the number of times something is repeated. Okay, as simple as that. That how frequently something is repeated is given the term frequency basically. So if the frequency is the highest, that means it is repeated the most number of times, right? How often exactly? Now that is what is mode actually. All right, if I am plotting a frequency distribution table, basically what I'm trying to understand is maximum repetitions, how frequently something is happening. Exactly, very good, Anvana. Yeah, so Priscilla, the example that I was giving is an approximation. I do not know how many subjects you have individually. What I'm trying to say is average marks across say X number of subjects. That can be how many ever you want to. All right, so guys, these three are the main measures of central tendency. How you measure the crux of say a series or random numbers that are given to you. It says average is a number that represents or shows the central tendency of a given data. Now guys, you are in grade 7. So now you also have many sections in your class. Grade 7 may have X number of sections, Y number of sections. Now say you have an exam. And the teacher says, if I have to compare both the sections, I'm going to ask, what were the average marks of section A and what were the average marks of section B? All right. Now, the question is, how do we understand which section did better? All right. Which section performed well? You compare the average.
So we should take a class average of all the three things and then compare which is the greatest.
Yeah, right. What I'm trying to say is you're in class 7 out of section A and section B, and you had a math test. All right. Now we are going to compare the overall average of the class. We will come to how average is to be found out, but let's understand what average is. Okay. So when we compare the average of both the sections, we get an idea so as to whose average is better. That means which section performed better as compared to the other. So say section A's average was 70 marks out of 100 and section B's average was 80 marks. So it is extremely clear that section B performed well. That is, most of the students scored around the value of 80, right? What I told you in the first slide or like 5 minutes back. Is that clear? So, okay. So Karthik says if 7A got 77% and 7B got 66%. Yes, those are the averages. Let's just understand what averages are. How to calculate is what I'm going to teach you in the next slide. Don't worry about it. So clearly what is being told is section A got 77% is the average. That means they have performed well as compared to section B. That means the score of most of the students has revolved around 77% in section A and say 66% in section B. Is that clear, guys? Is that clear? Any doubts? So today's session we are going to focus only on arithmetic mean or the average. The next session we will focus on what median and mode is. All right. Okay. Any doubts till here? Anyone has any questions related to this? Any doubts? Type in. Remember our idea, we do not move to the second concept unless until the first is very clear. Chalo, okay. Now, arithmetic mean, he says arithmetic mean or say average. You can call it anything. Now guys, what do you think is the general meaning of average in your own words? Bhavya, give me a minute. I will get back to you. Don't worry about it. I haven't started with what it is. I've just given you a general idea.
So can you repeat what he said?
My question is, what do you think average is in your own words?
Like it's like the most middle number. If we take an example of marks,
Right.
in a class, so the middle, it's not the highest, not the low, but the most middle marks a person got.
Okay. Arna says total marks. No, it's not total. It says average. You've partly answered the question. You have not answered the entire question. Approximately.
Sir?
Okay. Yes, Unmana.
So I think average means suppose in a class we have 40 number of students and they got out of 50 marks the whole 40 students got marks. So if we divide the marks with the number of students, then we could get the value that each student can get.
Very good, very good. Even Palpopat is coming close. Even he is given a good answer. Not extreme, but the middle value. Karthik Sethi says where you add up all the numbers, divide by the number of numbers.
So
It is. That's a very good statement, Karthik. Yes.
the central or typical value in a set of data.
Pardon? Can you come again?
The central or typical value
Good, good.
in a set.
Yes,
or a data.
exactly. So we are trying to find out a number that around which all other numbers revolve. That is what I explained in the first slide. Bhavya, that is what mean or average was till now. There is a particular number in a set of numbers. How we calculate is what we are going to see now. Around which all other numbers revolve. Now, Karthik Sethi has given a very tricky statement saying where you add up all the numbers and you divide by the number of numbers. He thinks that he has made the statement tricky because he has used the word number a number of times. Now, what he said is actually right. Average is nothing but simply the total or addition or sum of all the numbers, as Karthik says, or observations is what we use. This is basically terminology. It is up to you. Divided by. Now, if it was the addition or sum, we would call it total. But the term that we're discussing is the term average, right? Divided by the number of observations. Now, as Unmana gave the example, we're talking about the number of students. So the observations can be anything. It can be students. It can be any other thing that you want to take. It can be days of the week. It can be months in a year, whatever. So it is basically the number of observation, or as Karthik said to make it tricky, number of numbers, as simple as that. All right. Right. Priscilla, I am not saying that anyone's wrong. All of you give the right meaning. I'm just trying to put across different words for you. All right. So basically, this is what average or arithmetic mean means. As simple as that. I am giving you a set of data. There are a lot of numbers. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to add all of them. Once you add all of them, you're supposed to divide the number of observations that are there. Now, let me give you an example. Say
So
we take number.
This is kind of like unitary method, right?
Unitary method. Let's see. What exactly is your doubt?
Like I was like, when we add the numbers and we have the number, like when you have a sum of numbers and then you have the number of people whose marks or those numbers are. So then to find one person, we will use the unitary method, right?
Right.
It's like the same.
Okay, let me tell you what you're trying to say. Let's see what unitary method is, okay? Because we'll probably use it somewhere or the other. So I'm saying that 1 kg rice is for rupees 50. All right. Now, just to clear Priscilla's doubt, what is the price of 5 kgs of rice? This is when you're saying this is the value that we need to find. This is unitary method, right? So what do? 5 into 50 by 1, right? So it is 250 rupees. Priscilla, is it clear?
This is not unitary method.
Then what is unitary method?
Like if they give like 1 kg is equal to 50 rupees and then dash kgs is equal to 250 rupees.
Okay, and what did I write? Did I write something different?
You gave the number of kgs, right?
Okay, so I am asking you the value.
I mean, I'm sorry. You gave like 5 kgs is equal to some rate or 250.
I'm saying 5 kgs, how much? That is what I'm finding out.
Yeah, but in unitary method, I don't think we do that.
Okay, so what do you think you do in unitary method? Tell me. Let me
You
write
have to find the number of 1. Like you have to find the value of 1 kg.
Is that necessary?
I
No,
think so.
that is what I'm trying to say. Remember, that a concept does not have one application. It has a lot of applications. Now let me explain what you thought about it. Don't worry. Let's clear all the doubts. Okay. So basically, okay. So what you're trying to say is basically, okay, the meaning is unitary method. So you're just trying to reverse the concept by saying, if I'm saying the 5 kgs of rice is for rupees 250, what is the value of 1 kg? That is, what is the value of 1 unit? Exactly. This is what you're trying to say. That is how you're thinking that unitary method is, that's how the name has come out. For this, you write 50 rupees and this is the answer, right? This is the entire idea in your head. Am I right? Priscilla, am I getting close to your answer now? Your doubt? I'll clear it, don't worry. Right. Now, because the method says unitary, you're trying to find the value of 1 unit. But is there a rule that, forget the name of the method, just understand the logic. Is there a rule that says, if I'm given the value of 1 unit, I cannot find the value of other units? You can obviously reciprocate, right? You can reverse it. There is no particular reason that you have to find in the same way. You're just multiplying, as simple as that, right? So that is what I did here. I said if 1 kg is 50, how much is 5 kgs? Over here, I wrote what you people were asking me to. 5 kgs is 250, so how much is 1 kg? That's the only difference. The logic is not different. It is just about which value you're finding that is different. If I have to find per unit, I am going to divide. If I am going to increase the number of units, I'm going to multiply. As simple as that. 1 kg is becoming 5 kgs. I multiplied by 5. So I have to multiply 50 also by 5. That is how I am getting 250. Is it clear, guys? Now, are we now on the same page about what you guys have thought about what unitary is? Finding per unit value, per unit cost, per unit weight. Priscilla, are we clear now?